Sebastian Maniscalco. And Nikki Glaser. I'm so excited to be the least funny person on the stage. Looking back throughout your careers in comedy, what was your most combative, awkward, hilarious post-joke interaction?
Post-joke interaction?
Yeah, like could be a friend or family member, could be a complete stranger, could be a public figure.
I can go first, very easy. It was my mother-in-law. I called her a cunt. And she's like, I'm not. And I was like, you don't get to decide that. But she's still arguing with people in the comment sections of my reviews and stuff.
Sorry, we're just trying to figure out the mic sitch. Right? Is it me and you?
Everyone bump back.
Post-joke situation? Probably that moment.
Yeah.
Stopped us.
They gave the immigrants a technical difficulty.
Nikki, did you talk to Sean Penn after the Globes?
Yeah, no, I did not. I didn't want to inhale secondhand smoke, so I didn't see him. I really, you asked me that question, I'm like, I always avoid the crowd after because I just feel like I don't want any feedback that I can potentially hurt someone's feelings or embarrass someone. So I'm always kind of like, when even after the Globes, I like try not to go to parties, I just feel bad that I might run into people who might feel like obligated to say good job. I think that's what I'm always avoiding, is that like someone has to be like, I loved it, when maybe they were offended or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the most awkward post-joke moment, I just remember being on stage and I was talking about something, you know, sexually graphic that was vulnerable and this thing that I had experienced. And a girl in the front row, I locked eyes with her and she was just really stunning, gorgeous girl, and she just goes, ew. And I was just like, ew? And I go, you've never swallowed cum, or whatever it was? And she goes, and it was just such a great moment, she goes, I mean, I have, but I wouldn't tell a room of people that. And I was like, fair enough. Like, that's what's wrong with me. Yeah.
Well, I don't have a story like that.
You spit.
I would have to say it's my mother, every time she comes to the show, kind of wonders why she's not in my act. So I can explain to her that, you know, I talk about my father a lot, and he's kind of like the character of my family, and I have nothing against my mother, it's just that she's wondering why she's not mentioned at all. So
Wow.
yeah. But it's all good.
It's usually the opposite, like they don't want to be.
No,
and then the
my
second
mom-
you give someone out, they're like, why not me?
Yeah, my mom wants to be in the act, but sorry.
Frankie, Atsuko, got anything?
For me, it's probably my cousins, because I reference like a cousin a lot in my act, and I have a lot of cousins. My mom has 6 siblings, my dad has 5, and they all have kids. So it's like I always have like 10 or 11 cousins that will call me or text me, like, hey, that joke was about me, huh?
I think it's so cool all your families go to your shows. I'm like, it's just, I need this. I come from a family of non-laughers. Like, nobody in my family laughs. So, like, we would eat in silence. Like, dinners with our families, like, dead set. Like, your family, I would never know. Like, we eat, like, who died? And then one time, I remember my aunt asked for the salt. we jumped. Like, oh my God. We're getting robbed, you know. So yeah, post-joke moment, I wouldn't say, I mean, there've been like great moments that turn into crowd work, just like, because naturally, you know, for some reason, like a couple broke up in the front row once of my show, you know, where the girl got up, she's like, oh, I'm leaving your ass, and then she left, the guy stayed, I said, oh, this is different, usually it's the girl that's the fan. And the guy was like, no girl, I got the tickets, I'm a big fan, I'm gonna stay. So it was like that, and then my husband had to intervene, it was like the Karamo talk show. And then, you know, yeah, my husband came in and was like, you know, we're gonna go get your girl. This show is about love, so let's go get her right now. And then so yeah, they went out, they got back together. So is that like a post-joke moment? Because I did do jokes before.
I will say, Frankie talking about his cousins, I just, on my cousin's chat today, there's like 18 of my cousins, and then my aunt is on it for some reason. She's just like the hall monitor of it. And she came in to say, I watched your special, and I loved it. She goes, I'm so proud of you. And then I was like, thank you so much, and I thought, oh, that'll be the end of it. But then she goes, I love the nail salon bit. I gotta say, the rest of the special was not for Aunt Nancy. And you always get those comments, right, where they say something nice, and then they have to be like, we gotta let you know, it's not for me. And so I wanted to write back, oh my God, I loved 20% of this text message, but the rest was just not for me. But I didn't have the balls to send it. I just don't wanna create, you know,
So
drama.
Nikki, my whole family is Aunt Nancy.
Right, so pass the salt.
No, they show love in different ways.
Is this the Aunt Nancy that you saw naked when you were a child?
No, that's Aunt Lynn. Rest in peace.
Oh.
Yeah. She's okay. I mean, wherever she is. I don't know. She approved of the bit from the grave. I didn't ask her permission. But it felt like a nice way to honor her, talking about seeing her put a tampon in. Honestly.
Are we doing this right?
Really watch that special. Yes, we're doing this perfectly. Nikki, wise words a couple years ago that I want to go back to. You said so many of us being comedians, feel pressure to reinvent ourselves or to get more honest or reveal more about ourselves. And I'm wondering who among you feels that pressure when you're like constructing an hour?
We don't relate.
No.
That's her problem.
That we have to constantly reinvent ourselves.
The confessional, the reveal.
I think isn't it like you have to bring something new, like, you know, you're drawn to the same material, writing about the same subjects, and I feel like sometimes I feel as an artist you just have to approach things differently, or for me as someone who does talk honestly about my life, and not everyone does that comedically, but that's what I do, I always feel like, oh, I have to find something else to like give these people that I've never told anyone else before, and sometimes I'm like running out of stuff. I think that's what I meant, but I would like to hear you guys feel that pressure to just reinvent in some kind of way.
Well, I'm blessed. I have a whole family that keeps doing crazy things. So they keep the reinvention going. Like my daughter is dating a Jewish boy, and that was a new experience for me. I was most supportive. Nobody needed everything. I'm very understanding. I was like, you do you, whatever makes you happy. I also knew his mother was going to put an end to it. So we might be going through other nationalities.
You have a very good handle on your career in terms of like you know what type of venue you can sell out and you know how much money you can get for a special. But how do you know when that special is really breaking through? Like, is there any sort of barometer of like if you've sort of like penetrated the culture in that way?
I think like when people are quoting it, sometimes, you know, things you say might end up being what's happening in the zeitgeist, you know, with like, I was at an event with like the Japanese consulate here. Well, I was walking in and I overheard him telling my joke, because it was a room full of Japanese Americans who moved to the US, and he was like asking, why? Why did we move here? Like Atsuko said, no Japanese person ever needs to move to America. The escape room of countries, you know, and so it's like, oh, okay, so So not only did you watch it, but there was something, you know, that like is quotable because people are relating to it, right? And I think that's when you know it's happened. And when people start showing up to your shows wearing wigs of your bowl cut, which, I said, oh, I've created monsters. It's one of the ways to start a cult.
I'll say on behalf of Sebastian, I remember when he showed up as Marcelo played him on SNL.
That's right.
I thought
Yeah.
this is such a huge moment for a comedian, and I'm sure you felt that too. That's so cool.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Multiple times, yeah.
No, it was very flattering. But here's the tricky step, at least for me, that the material, each special you do, in my eyes, has to be equal to or greater than the last special you did, right? So for comedians to have that constant pressure of trying to outdo your last thing or what have you, it's extremely, extremely difficult. And there's times I'm sitting there going, you know, is this where they look at it and go, don't got it no more. So for me, it's kind of nerve-wracking trying to, you know, be consistent with your material no matter where you are in your career. So that's what I found to be a big challenge for me.
Do you feel like you need a mission statement when you're working on an hour, or are you just workshopping the material that's entertaining you at the time, and if you find a way to like make it cohesive and say like one thing, yay?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't speak for everybody else here, but for me, I'm just doing material that I'm kind of living through currently. Right now, it's going to soccer with my son, so I'm starting to see, oh, okay, this could be a good 10-minute, 12-minute chunk in the future if I keep going to the games. So, yeah, there's no mission statement. It's just, I guess what I do is I do the material and then I kind of have an overall theme of like, oh, this, you know, as far as titling the special, this is kind of what the theme is. I don't go in with, I'm going to write everything about my family. So that's not how I do it.
I think the reinvention comes naturally because of that, because we are also living and aging, so that means the kids are getting older, or for me, it's like my grandma's getting older, I'm now caregiving for her, so that's the new material. And then as long as we're like, you know, paying attention and living in the world, it's always gonna be, you know, part 2 of your former self, part 3, like it's always gonna be a reinvention because of that, you know. I've never had to give my grandma a bath before, but I have, and now this is my new, part of my new show, right? And why did I get naked too? Well, I moved and I got naked, I got in the bathtub, it's over, and I said, come in. And she said, I don't think this is how you do it. I said, you know, it's really just up to different people. You know, we all do things differently. We're not a monolith. Okay, it's like a real sick sequel to Moana.
Frankie, how did you find your most recent hour?
Yeah, well, I mean, even though I've been doing stand-up like probably longer than I like to say out loud, but this is my first hour, so yeah, and so but yeah, you know, I was going through some crazy shit, me and my family, you know, I got addicted to cocaine over the pandemic, but so I, you know, battled addiction, was forced to deal with those demons of my childhood abuse and all that, and opened up to my family about it, got us all in therapy, and you know, I've been doing this stand a long time. Like, is this gonna be too heavy for a special? But the director of my special was my friend Ali Wong, and she was like, no, I think it's important to talk about this, and it's hilarious. And then so it was so fun workshopping the hour I took with her and getting all that stuff out, even just personally. And you know, I was able to get sober and dialed in, and so it was like just like boom, like all right, homie, this is the moment. And then like, but the ultimate goal was to make it funny, obviously, and we were able to do that. So I was like, yeah. So that's hopefully people.
You all found that as long as it's funny, there is nothing too heavy for a special at this point? Because I mean, the comedy that people are putting out now is so different than, at least in the televised special, the 10, 15, 20 years ago.
For sure, yeah, as long as, I think, yes, any, tragedy, as long as it's funny, for sure. Well, yes, I'm just repeating what you said. Yes, it's a yes or no question, yes, Michael, yes.
Yeah, I do think that you can tackle any subject. It's not necessarily about how funny it is, because there are times where a joke's really funny, but it irritates me that it's made, because it's stoking the flames on the wrong side, that we don't really need to make these jokes right now when these people are suffering, or, it can be so funny, but I'm like, that could have waited. But I don't think that subject could be approached a different way, maybe with a more empathetic lens, and you can still make jokes about the subject. But I do feel like there's a line sometimes. I don't feel like, well, it's funny and I'm not gonna apologize. I've never been a comedian who won't apologize for a joke. Like, that's why I avoid people after show. I feel like I might need to, and I feel so bad that I might have offended someone, even though it's always, it's ironic because I do roasts and it seems like that's what I revel in doing is offending people. But I think that I will apologize for a joke, and I have before. Like, I get things wrong all the time. So it's nice to push the boundaries, but I always have to just look at, am I coming from the right place? Am I coming from it from a place of anger and judgment? And is the person on the other side of it, do they really deserve this? I've cut so many jokes that are so funny just because I don't want to offend someone. And, but that's just what I do.
But the thing is that sometimes you're not trying to offend. Like, I found out 2 days after my Hulu special drop that clips of my special became part of the curriculum all over India on what kind of mother not to be. So they were playing my clips in every school in India and telling all these teenagers, don't watch this. And the number one way to get somebody to, like, especially teenagers, to not watch something is to say don't watch it. Like, I got everything. I mean, I'm mostly plain comic. Sometimes there's a word here or there, but I wasn't trying to offend anybody, and it was all over the Indian press. Like, this woman is out there ruining, mother-in-laws.
I got called to be in a documentary about mental health after done. So, but anyway, yeah, mentally ill comedians and doing group therapy. Anyway, yes, we all hit different people and touch different people is how I like to see it.
I feel like someone's always gonna be offended with it somehow.
I'm trying. I'm a TikToker. I'm not trying to get the Chinese military to take my jokes. When they were like, who owns it? I was like, take them, all of them. Please, somebody get offended. I started late. I don't have time to waste. I need to get famous fast. If somebody wants to come out here and slap me, let's go. That's gonna make the news tomorrow.
On the subject of lines and boundaries, is there a clear third rail for all of you? Either an aspect of your personal life or
Third rail means like something you don't talk about.
third rail is like the thing that kills you, I guess, in the subway. The first two are fine, and the third one you're like, zap.
Yeah.
So that's stuff you don't talk about. Sorry, this isn't my first language, so sometimes.
Oh, no, I'm
is that a riddle?
Yeah, like,
Is that just magic trick you just was that a spell you just cast on me?
You just call it the line you walk across. The line you
Oh,
walk across.
yes, there's lines, yeah. I think there's, like Nikki was saying, for me, I punch up, so I don't, people aren't usually offended with me. I mean, people who are like, on the other side, yes, that they might be like, oh, you hate America than me, or whatever. But even then, I'm still being playful. I'm like, I call America the escape room of countries. You tell me that's not wrong. But yes, like, yeah, I won't talk about people that are struggling ever. And punch down.
Sebastian, how good are you at telling when a joke will land before you've actually delivered it?
My barometer is my mom, so I do. I don't like practice material on people, but I'll do my material comes out of just storytelling. So I'll call my mom and we'll talk, and get what happened story. So if I got her going, I know that it's a good one to maybe bring to the Comedy Store and kind of work it out. So if she's laughing, I know it's pretty much a good chunk. And then as far as like what the third rail is, I've always been like, as a kid, I always represented my family, right? So if you did something at school, it was not only you're like embarrassing yourself, but you're embarrassing the entire family. So when I go out and do my comedy, I don't do anything that my parents would look at me and go, what the fuck? So that's kind of how I gauge whether or not to talk about a certain topic. I still have like that family in the background going, you shouldn't do that, it's a little off color or what have you. So that's kind of what, but I'm not doing anything that's controversial. I mean, I'm talking about Amazon and dad, you know, so it's not like I tap dance this like, oh man, is he gonna get canceled? I'm not really doing that type of material, so I'm not really worried about it.
No, but in terms of knowing if something's gonna be funny, when the rest of you, like, do you think you know something's going to play well with your audience before you ever test it out in the club?
I think you're like 90% sure, but then you'll be wrong often. And I think that's the fun of it, is that you can be so sure about some tag that you wrote or some joke that you wrote that day, that you're so confident you don't even run it past anyone to maybe test it out, and then it just dies. And you feel so naked and like a fraud, and you have all the, like, I just have all the feelings that I used to have bombing early on and figuring this out and thinking, oh, I don't know how to do this at all. But I think that that's part of the fun of it, is that I like not knowing. And I think you really don't, no matter how many people you try it on, you don't know until you get it in front of a crowd. You just never know.
Yeah.
And it's unpredictable, I feel.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's no, I was gonna just piggyback off that. Like, there's been so many times I like to write at cafes, and I'll write something up now. It's gonna be so good, you know. And, you know, try it on stage at night, it's like, oh, it's not what I envisioned. Everybody's looking at it. I can't continue my life.
And you like built in a pause for like an applause break. You're just sipping water and they can hear you gulp. Yeah, it's happening.
What does bombing look like at this point in your respective careers, given the fact that you're courting an audience and you kind of like know that you have a fan base?
You don't bomb.
Yeah, but I mean, thankfully, bombing is not really, it doesn't really obviously happen that, because so many people are just excited to see you. And thankfully, you know, we have our crowds there and stuff like that. I think it's just trying that new joke that, you know, may or may not work, and when it doesn't work, you kind of feel like what Nikki was saying, you just feel naked and lost, and like, oh my gosh, am I good at this? And then just, I think we're able to bounce back. But yeah, thankfully, bombing is a, you know.
Or figuring out like if what the silence means too, and being like, oh, that's okay. You weren't bombing maybe during that silent part. It's because it's actually maybe a sad part that you haven't made funny yet, so they're just listening, or you get to know your audience, so you get to know like, oh, okay, actually watching that tape back or listening back, which I do after each show. I go, oh, okay, it's because actually, yeah, that's still sad, or that's not ready, yeah. They're concerned about me here. Yes, okay, I need to release that tension, yeah.
So much about comedy, I feel like the way that people feel about the industry right now, and the way that people within the industry have different feelings about what comedy is. What is an unpopular opinion you have about comedy today? Either comedy that's successful that maybe you're not into, crowd work is real,
You want to say?
No, I don't hate on anyone specific, I just like.
I wish comments didn't exist.
Okay.
I wish that, I want to get back to consuming everything and not having to look and see what other people think about this before I even watch the reel, which I don't even do. And I feel like I don't even, there's like a name for it now if you like raw dog a movie. It's like, it means you don't look anything up on IMDb, you don't look up Rotten Tomatoes, you don't look up who's the Nepo kid in it, and it's like, and you try to do it, it's impossible, because you need the information about how am I supposed to feel about this, as opposed to just going into it and seeing what you think. And so I miss that part. That's why I like live stand-up. You're not checking like, did you guys think that was funny? Like you just have to react in the moment, and I think I wish I could just, remove comments from everything that I do online. That would be great.
I think, I found Sebastian's answer to the earlier question interesting, that he has a family. I also do family comedy, but I went the other way. He's just a nice dad. Because he's like, I don't want to embarrass. I'm like, let's go for it. I've heard, my kids have thrown me under the bus so many times in the schools. Every family secret has been like revealed to my kids. I find out at parent day, they're like, yeah, my mom doesn't really wake up in the mornings. So why am I up here? You know what I mean? Like, you guys are my people. So I just go and do whatever. There's no line, and the dirtier the better. Also because my audience is a lot of moms who, it's so expensive to go out. The babysitter, the Uber, they want to hear. They want to hear the underbelly, and I will just go there.
In terms of avoiding the comments, like where do you guys like to workshop material where you feel relatively safe that it's not going to be on Instagram the next day?
At the clubs, really, Comedy Store a lot, because they put their phones in the little package or whatever, so you're safe in that, if that happens. But yeah, that's where I like to workshop material at the clubs.
Yeah, I mean, this is like, we would all see each other backstage. Like, this is kind of like, this looks like a group of people that would run into each other, like tonight at the Comedy Store, in the green room. Like, we're all out there all the time, working on it.
What would you be talking about if I wasn't here asking you dumb questions?
We would all have nights like this, front face.
Yeah. I don't know, the crowd, how they are tonight, what you did during the day. Like, we don't really talk shop as much, I think, backstage. We all just like hang out as friends, I guess. Yeah.
What's annoying everyone right now? Like what? Not even just like annoying, but like what's like this in the brain that you want to get out on stage? Like, what are you like marinating on right now? Because you just released these hours, and then once it's out there, you gotta have the new material.
Right, you're saying workshop now.
Yeah.
Right now, instead of always the thoughts that are in our notes app.
Yeah.
Do it.
Oh, wait.
No one has to said. Like, what are you thinking about right now? Like, what are you, if you were to go to the Comedy Store today, like, what would you want to talk about?
I did think, well, just because I was just in Salt Lake City, which a lot of like fellow lovely weirdos live, who knew, right? It's like Mormons and then former Mormons, but I did think because so like their main school is Brigham Young University, and the mascot is like super hot, but it's like this cougar. And he has really hot, sexy dance moves and stuff, and it's very attractive. And all what it got me thinking. Are we really doing this? It's okay. No, I don't know. I haven't written this out. I just was like, oh, I think it's interesting the things you have to do as like a religious person to be like, we're not having sex. We just have a hot mascot that we're all having for. Or like, you know what I mean? It's like, no, God respects me. I do anal. I didn't lose my virginity. It's like, sweetie, you drank 12 Coca-Colas today. You know what I mean? And I'm doing anal. I don't know. You're unwell. You need help. Your friend is jumping on the bed and you're like, this isn't sex. God loves me. You know how to do that? So yes, soaking. And they're like, he still respects me. Sweet, we need a therapist. And so anyway, that's
They also don't drink caffeine, but that they do coffee enemas. So as long as it's through the butt, it's fine. It's insane. So the butt is the loophole?
I tutored this kid when I was tutoring, and he was like drunk, physically drunk when I was tutoring him. I was like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm drunk." I said, "But I don't smell it on you." He goes, "I put vodka in my eyes." And I was like, "Oh, that's not just drink. Like that's bad." Anyway,
Mommy doesn't care.
I don't know. Maybe sometimes we have conversations like this in the green room.
Yeah.
It's kind of about, you know.
Yeah, I think it's just like when you're developing new material, I always just kind of look towards like when I get around my friends and I'm talking about something and I'm passionate and they're laughing and I'm not even trying to make them laugh, that's when I go, okay, maybe this is something I should talk about. Anything that I'm just fired up about. And it's hard sometimes because when you're on the road so much and then you get done with it, I just got done promoting a special and like I wasn't living much of a life, so I had to develop a new hour, and I'm just gonna move to New York City over the summer and just live a life during the day, collect stories, and work at night and work on that new 45. And usually I've just done that, through the years, but I'm just doing a boot camp now because I have to set aside time now to like figure out what I want to talk about. Because sometimes you're just like, I'm too tired to even think of anything, because I'm trying to get people to watch the stand-up that I already had opinions about stuff. I'm out of opinions. And so, but they'll come up. I mean, yeah, there's lots of stuff that there's stuff that doesn't make the special, and then you're like, okay, I'll put it in the next one, and then you're like, I don't feel as fired up about that, so you have to tweak it. So, kind of in that stage.
I think that not having sex might be a theme right now, because it's on my mind. I'm 50 and I don't care anymore. Now I walk around with a police tape around my body. I'm like, police like, do not cross, do not touch me, do not hug me. You want to show me affection? Bend on me.
Right,
No, that's a really good point.
It's a bit,
Because I just always used to talk about sex on stage, and people said, "Are you always going to do this?" And I said, "Well, I'll stop talking about it when I'm not interested in it." And I'm finally not interested in it at all. And I don't know what to do now.
No, you can talk about
but
it.
that's
Cooking.
what talks about that though. Like I remember I was at a gynecologist's office recently because you gotta go. And and they now ask everybody, are you gay? Are you bi? Are you straight? I was like, I'm done. Born, raised, breastfed, the whole time, done, stay away. It should be the new category. Like, whoa, look how exciting, right? Should I do a whole hour on that?
Comedy is very personal, so I'm wondering for each of you, who's sort of on your Mount Rushmore? Who are your icons?
For me, it was Eddie Murphy. He was the first person I saw as a kid, just in a suit, lighting a room up. I was fascinated by it. I'm like, what is that? Well, we're trying to do that one day. So yeah, that was me, Eddie Murphy.
Kevin Hart for me. I think the way he's leveraged his comedy across genres, he's a family comic for movies, but then he does his material, then he's got all the businesses. It's very cool, all the things that he's built, and I love reading about it. It's exciting to see, yeah.
I mean, I will say that I went to go see Sebastian in Atlantic City. I was doing a smaller room, and then I was done with my show, and I got to go over to see the special that it Ain't Right. And this was like a year and a half before you shot it, and I was like, I had never seen such a perfect hour put together, and it really it changed the way I approach comedy and just the way I approach that kind of scale of this kind of massive room he was performing in, and just it changed something in me, it shifted something, and he became one of my favorites in that moment right there that night. Like I really, you're one of the greats, man. Yeah.
I remember when she wrote me, for whatever reason, when you get like an Instagram message from someone who don't really get one from, and they came in from you, I was like very flattered. Well, thank you, that was very sweet of you. And we worked together actually a long time ago. Was it in?
Oh my God, yeah, it was at the Funny Bone in Kentucky, like Cincinnati Funny Bone, and I opened for him. I I was featuring, and you were so cool to me and so nice, and that wasn't always the case. You know, you come in and you feature for these headliners and you don't know what they're gonna be like, but you gave me great advice. You were just a great hang and super approachable, even when you didn't need to be, and that always stuck with me. So it's just nice to see someone that treated you well before they were super big, get really big and still be that like kind guy. So that's also, I've taken that from you as well. Like, treat people well coming up. You might share a panel stage with us.
Well, that was very nice of you. I was going to compliment you on being such a gracious comedian back then. I knew she was going places, and then when I see her, you know, explode and with the roasts and the comedy and the specials, it's because I've been doing this since 1998. You meet a lot of people along the way, and then when you see people breaking through and succeeding that you've worked with before, it's really nice to kind of watch their rise and whatnot. So it's been really, really cool to see people's success. And for me, growing up, I watched Johnny Carson. That was kind of like the introduction to stand-up comedy for me on The Tonight Show. And just his silence, his pause, and actually somebody who really affected me, who's not a comedian, is John Ritter. I used to watch Three's Company. John Ritter flipping around and doing like kind of these faces. It really stuck with me. And as I look back and look at kind of what I do and what he was doing, it's similar in the sense that the physicality is there. So yeah, a lot of people along the way kind of influence you.
What about you?
There's, you know, Margaret Cho, who really wasn't the first ever Asian American female stand-up, but she was one of the first people I saw holding. I just didn't know what stand-up was before, and yeah, so she was, you know, really influential. And then that gave me an idea when you said John also was like, you know, as someone who didn't speak English, you know, when I first moved here, Lucille Ball, you know, she was super international. She was big in Japan too, just all over the world, honestly. And you didn't need language to understand her, you know. And I think I still use it to this day. I'm a pretty physical performer. I use my eyes a lot. You know, there's like a lot of like Japanese theater and anime and all of it combined with my. I feel like I only know 2,000 words. But yeah, so yeah, so I still use it.
I mean, before I let you guys go, what is the brass ring for you all? What is the brass ring in comedy these days?
Is that like the third?
No, is it Madison Square
2001 words.
Brass? Okay, thank you, brass, okay, brass.
Is it like Madison Square Garden? Is it like a movie career? Is it like, what is the dream? And Sebastian, I feel like you're
Sebastian's already doing
Is it Neil?
I mean, I don't know if there's a brass ring. For me, it's, I guess, different iterations of what the career could go into. I'm not looking to be a TV film guy. If there's something around that I'm really attracted to be honest with you, it's kind of boring for me to do these TV and film projects. You know, as comedians, you're up here, and you know, even tonight, you know, you may get this immediate laugh, and it feels fantastic. But then, you know, to sit on a set for 12, 14 hours and just rot for 9 weeks, it's a lot, you know. But I don't know, you know, I don't know. I've never been a guy who's got like a vision board and like, I'm gonna do this year. It's just always kind of happened, and yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, listen, I can't wait to go to the Comedy Store next week and work on material. For me, that's the brass ring. Just making people laugh, no matter where it is. Doesn't have to be a big arena. It could be a Tuesday night, 12 people, and you're rolling. So just making people laugh, making people happy.
Yeah, writing that next joke and having, like, you just feel like maybe I'll never write another joke again, that's good. And then when you get that laugh on a new bit, I feel like that's the feeling I'm always chasing.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
I thought the curtain.
I was given specific instructions about how we get on stage, and I was not told about how we get off. So I'm going to stand up and